3 games into the Sky Bet League One season, and we have one team on maximum points.
Who is it? No, I'm excited to know who it is.
It's it's Stevenage.
There you go.
Yeah. And is anyone surprised? I'm not.
No.
Not in the slightest. Those dark horses do tend to get off to strong starts. They beat Northampton 2-0. They've won both their home games to 0. Why am I not hugely surprised? Well, for a few reasons. Firstly, this was the team last season in League One that had the 5th best XG against, very strong defensive record, and they have the same manager, they have similar personnel, they've got an excellent team personality and spirit. Not a great surprise that they start the season looking bang at it defensively. They were beneficiaries of some generous defending from Blackpool on opening day, I think it's fair to say, and made the most of that, winning 3-2, and then they have had, let's be clear, pretty kind home fixtures so far. Rotherham and Northampton, who clearly looked undercooked before the season starts. Now we can see that they're undercooked. We want to send them back to the kitchen to get cooked a bit more. And Stevenage are fully cooked. Like, there's no argument about this. They were cooked months ago. They've just been sitting on the counter under one of those lamps asking for service.
Chef Revs.
Service.
Yeah.
Take this through. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
3 wins out of 3. You must be impressed with Stevenage.
I'm not
surprised, but you must be impressed.
Why must I be impressed?
Well, just because you didn't fancy him as much as I did pre-season.
Is that true?
Yeah, big time. Let's roll the tape. Let's look at the 1 to 24s.
I think I did. Yeah, I am impressed though, for sure. I mean, it looks at the moment like Northampton at home is the easiest game you're going to have in League One, because they are not at it at all. And I think we could hear, I couldn't work out if it was the away fans or the home fans, but certainly one of the fans singing about how Northampton are never going to score again, which is probably not ideal. Poor Elliot List getting it from the home fans as well. Listy, what's the score? You could hear reverberating around. But yeah, I mean, so impressed with Stevenage again. They're just very, very solid. I think from their perspective, the goal scorers as well being pretty ideal. Kemp,
ideal goal scorers.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Is in like, because given how strong they were last season, I think Kemp has to be able to, for Stevenage, show the goal scoring form that we've seen elsewhere. And he started well. And then Ahabme, their new striker, who's going to be so important for them if they're going to continue. Gaston Ahabme is the one player in kind of League One and League Two where we've seen Ipswich basically watch him play against them and be like, wow, we need to sign him. We've seen, Charlton look at him and be like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. And because when he's good and when he's at it, he is so dominant and he just bullies centre-backs whilst also carrying massive goal threat. But for some reason, it doesn't happen particularly consistently. But maybe being a big fish at Stevenage, where if he doesn't perform, he's not kind of frozen out, which is what's happened at the 2 clubs I've mentioned. And where at Cambridge, of course, he was kind of better over a long period of time. Maybe we'll see him flourish, especially playing for a striker who himself was very good in the air and bully centre-backs and score a few goals. So excited to see how it translates. But I think for Ahabme to score this early and score a pivotal goal as well is important.
Yeah, it's a nice little 4-2-3-1, great shape and discipline out of possession. They love defending their own box. Defenders like Pierre Gianni, for example. Lots of technical players as well. White in midfield, Kemp in the 10, Roberts tucked in off the right wing as well, and probably a bit more threat from out wide in Chem Campbell and Phoenix Patterson, who came off the bench here. But they so far have just faced barely any shots and only 2 shots on target across 3 games so far. So, great start. They got Vale away, Huddersfield at home, and then Wycombe at home to round off the month. So let's see where they are after 6 games or so. Still looking for any silver linings within Cobbler's performances and results, and still struggling. And just as a small aside, I'm noticing a bit of a trend of players using their first name on the back of their shirts.
Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix 7. Mm-hmm. And on the opposition, Tyrese Forner. Tyrese Forner's got really? Tyrese on the back of his shirt.
Fair play. I don't think he's Phoenix 7, is he? I thought it was like Phoenix 742.
It's Phoenix 44.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's there's someone in League 2 that I'm going to get to later who's wearing 7, I think.
I'm excited for that.
Oh no, it's Samson.
It's
really, Samson 9.
You really know how to keep them watching.
You've got Samson 9.
Yeah, that's fun.
I with my respectful hat on, I don't care, and if that's the name they want to wear,
right, there's
generally a pretty good reason for it,
okay,
and sometimes personal reason for it, and I don't want to take the mick. But also, it is a bit 7-year-old kid gets a replica shirt for his birthday.
I really love the
Billy 7.
To paraphrase you there, you've gone, sometimes it can be because of personal reasons, but I think it's silly.
Well, as an overall, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah. Ali. What you could have Ali?
George 10.
Finidi.
George, Blackpool 3, Huddersfield 2 was a pretty wild one.
Blackpool fans are getting their money's worth, aren't they?
Yeah.
This was kind of the reverse of what happened in their opening fixture of the season at home, where they took the lead very early and then kind of witnessed a horror show. Here it was Ben Wiles who had a deflected effort that put Huddersfield up inside 5 minutes. And then really fun from Blackpool, who just poured forward. Niall Ennis, who again looks really, really good. Now that he's fit and firing for Blackpool with a couple of nicely taken goals, with a brilliant strike, one of the goals of the day from Lee Evans, in between the two of them, before Lyndon Gooch scored on the right-hand side. I think I'm right in saying it was 5 goals from the first 6 shots in this game. And maybe that's why there just weren't any more. In part also because we had... Niall Ennis himself was sent off. I think I read a stat earlier today that he's the first player to score a brace and be sent off in the first half since Robbie Keane back in 2007.
Yeah, you read that in NTT20.com's weekend notes.
No, I didn't. So that's bad. Someone's stolen it from us then.
No. More likely we've taken it and put it in the
Or more
the
likely
stats
2
section.
people knew it. Yeah. I did read weekend notes today. I just didn't get that far down. So Huddersfield just dominated the ball after that. But probably the most impressive thing was how Blackpool managed to defend their box with 10 men and kind of kept Huddersfield at arm's length, which will be a frustration and concern to Lee Grant. And kind of having seen how the way the second half went, you could probably make an argument that Huddersfield would have had a better chance breaking Blackpool down had it stayed 11v11, because of the way that the Blackpool defended. So a really important win for Blackpool, who have had obviously a really tough start to the season, and should, off the back of that 4-1 loss at Exeter, had they lost this one, I think it would have started to turn against Bruce. Huddersfield obviously made a great start to the season. They'll be frustrated they weren't able to get up at least a point from this, having played over a half football against 10 men, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, Huddersfield against Donny on Tuesday night is one of the standout League One fixtures of the midweek slate. And we do a Monday pod style breakdown of midweek fixtures on ntt20.com. It is for paid subscribers only. It's called Under the Lights, and we'll be doing an episode probably going out on Wednesday looking back at the major stories from Tuesday night's League 1 and League 2 slate. Lincoln beat Plymouth by 3-2, 3-0 up here before Argyle came flying back into it. I mean, Argyle's defending woes are just continuing in every single game, particularly aerially. And it's not a case where they're conceding a load of headed goals from crosses and they're just weak in that sense, defending crosses and defending their own box. They can't even handle just like a huge punt into the sky. The ones where you just, under no pressure, just head it away as far away as possible. It happened on opening day against Barnsley. It happened here again. It makes them look so budget, the goals that they're conceding. A really nice Tom Bayliss finish put Lincoln ahead. Then James Collins sniffed one out. Then James Collins scored a pen. Wiredu giving away the penalty with a handball, struggling to defend aerially at the back post. Wiredu then got sent off. His second was for diving. Quite a tough one to tell from the camera angle. It looked to me like he was trying to initiate contact, and so the referee obviously thought that was simulation. Wiredu's Argyle career could barely have started any worse. Although Xavier Amaechi, he really came to play in the second half. Got an assist, scored a good goal, a couple of really interesting dribbly moments. There's with him and Caleb Watts and Oseni, who scored goals in midweek in the Cup, and then one here. There's a few bits and bobs to cling on to towards the top of the pitch, but they've got to sort out their defending. That they look like such an unserious team, and you can't really be an unserious team and achieve anything in the modern EFL. I don't know if you ever could in the old school EFL either, but you certainly can't in the modern EFL. Even in attack, they've got these talented players, but they seem to only attack in bursts and not constantly for 90 minutes. So loads of work to do for Argyle, who have no points from 3 games. And a decent start for Lincoln with 2 home wins against Reading and now against Argyle with that defeat at Wimbledon in between it. They've got Northampton away on Tuesday night, so an opportunity to look very healthy after that before travelling to Bolton on Saturday. I'm yet to nail down Lincoln's exact level, so I'm loath to do any deep analysis on that. Maybe after that Bolton game, I'll have a better steer on them. George, Cardiff 3, Rotherham 0. Another lovely day out at home for the Cardiff fans and their lovely young team.
Yeah, I'm calling this maybe the most dominant win of any team yet in the EFL. so far. Like Rotherham didn't get anywhere near them throughout the whole game. Like even if you like ignoring the scoreline, statistically this was a joke in terms of not only chance creation but control as well. At 76 possession it was for Cardiff. 5 big chances to 0, 658 completed passes to 211. Rotherham just couldn't get anywhere near them, and Rotherham only had one shot in the whole game, which was well saved, and that was when the game was already 3-0. So like, one of two things has happened here. Either Cardiff are phenomenal, or Rotherham are really, really poor, and I'm probably leaning on the idea that Cardiff are good, and a good side who can take teams down if they're not at their best, but more likely Rotherham, who just weren't able to have any kind of impact in the game whatsoever. I'm really concerned about them. Yusuf Selek finally got his first League One goal just before half time from a set piece, before Kian Ashford with a brilliant goal. And he's someone that, he's one of these Cardiff kids who's looking really, really exciting, kind of a proper old school ball carrier, looking to get on the ball wherever possible and take his man on, and a real bit of quality for the finish too. What's funny?
Stanley Matthews springs to mind when you say old school ball carrier.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that who you're
exactly
thinking
what I was
of?
thinking of.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to say it to pile the pressure onto the poor lad. And then Ruben Colwill with a less dramatic goal, just kind of prodding home from a couple of yards out to make it 3-0. And yeah, just again, I'm not going to, for the same reason that we didn't get overly excited with the win over Posh on opening day. If you look at Peterborough and Rotherham's performances, I know Rotherham won on opening day, but for the most part, I'm pretty concerned about both of those two, in that they've been Cardiff's first 2 home games.
Away at Vale.
They were second
impressive.
best. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to, in saying that it's the most dominant performance I've seen from a team this season, that doesn't necessarily translate to me saying I think Cardiff are the best team in League One. But this was, ironically, it was men against boys, but it was the boys who dominated the men.
Nice.
Thank you.
Love that. Very young back line selected by Barry Murphy, who I imagine in job interviews across the land, 90% of managers probably, when they're asked about bringing through academy players, go like, yeah, really important to me, actually, bringing through academy players. Like, I think it's really important for the club, and I will definitely do that, with the caveat they always use, if they're good enough, I'll play them. And I think managers use that first bit as an excuse to not play young players, because they say, wow, it's really difficult playing first team football. But then, of course, you don't know if they're good enough until they play. You don't just give them one opportunity off the bench or in the cup. You give them a few consistent ones, and that's where you see quick growth, particularly in young footballers. Barry Murphy strikes me as one of the few guys who's actually like walking the walk on that front.
Yeah.
Leaving out some senior players, Willock on the bench, Robinson on the bench, Ashford in, for example, and same in the back line as well. We had wins for Wigan and Wimbledon, which I'll tell you about. Wigan beat Peterborough 2-0. First goal, nice and simple. Murray, the new boy, with a long straight run down the wing and across for Sadie to head home. Sadie, a bit like Hegeba. I'm putting them in the same bracket of like short dudes who are insanely strong and can still be like some of the best target men in the league, even if they are not jumbo tall strikers. I did note, and sometimes I feel like I'm being a bit unkind pointing out Peterborough's deficiencies, but I still think there are people who don't understand what a poor team this is. One way of pointing that out is that at the moment where Murray crosses the ball, there are 4 Wigan players in the box to attack it and only 3 Posh defenders, which is not ideal and kind of sums up a lot of their issues. The fact the second goal came from a set piece, which they didn't clear, completely unsurprising. 2-0 up after half an hour. And then Wigan just picked them off on the break, miss after miss after miss. Dara Costello has not brought his shooting boots to Wigan yet, and limited Posh to not very much. So I can see you want to jump in and tell me something, and I'm excited about it.
As a man who's always just fallen below 6 foot, and it's been upsetting all my life to hear you call 6 foot Christian Sadie a small man. I
don't trust any Google heights. They're not
okay, but
not right.
We've had this discussion a lot in the past.
No. Let me be clear. A, Google heights are a shambles, and B, he is not a jumbo striker.
No. I'm taking it on board. I'm just saying I feel like you were deliberately just trying to get a needle into me.
The jumbo boys.
Calling a man who's taller than me small, not short.
You're about as strong, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like at this stage of the season, we're saying this quite a lot. Some of the teams who have won games so far happen to have played teams that look super weak. And I think with Wigan, another good example, might be annoying for fans to hear, but you beat Cobblers at home, you beat Peterborough at home.
Yeah.
They're probably the two worst teams in the league so far, or two of them. In between a defeat at Leyton Orient, where suddenly things didn't look so good. So we have to see more from Wigan, in home games against stronger opposition, and then of course on the road as well. But it's been great to watch so far. It's been really fun, and that was like the first thing that I cared about for Wigan this season, was that it was fun to go and watch them play, and it is. So that's good stuff. As for Peterborough, poor at the back, poor in attack. They're at the point where the solution seems to be buy more players. I'm pretty worried about them. Wimbledon beat Reading 2-1. Reading 0 from 3, no points yet. Wimbledon, by contrast, with 6 points and that narrow defeat to Luton. Really, really impressive start to the season for them. There was a huge chance for Reading early on, a 3-on-2, which Garcia missed, a very presentable chance at the back post, the youngster.
What did you think of Abashaman squaring it to him? Because obviously he pulled it off, but I think that's one occasion where was the chance that he presented easier by squaring it, because he like rifled it into him at pace, and you're wondering, could he not have just taken a touch off himself?
Yep. And Big Kelvin is a good finisher.
Correct.
And Garcia, jury's still out on that front. And yeah, they paid the price for it. A Simway crossing for Stevens, amazing cross, brilliant header, quite similar to that Wigan goal that Sadie scored. A Simway just looks like a brilliant pickup on loan from Charlton. Johnny Jackson using the Charlton connections. Looks brilliant at right wing back. They've not missed Josh Neuf at all. The second goal was Stickland getting himself in a mess. Brown being a pest, winning a free kick, which was then worked to him on the edge of the box, and he smashed it in via deflection. So just really positive from a Wimbledon point of view. The performances, the consistency of the team across full games, the way the defence has stepped up, the way the midfield has stepped up, really, really impressive. And yeah, it was a very happy birthday weekend, I think, for Johnny Jackson. Bradford beat Luton 2-1. George, and I want to know, are Bradford maybe really good?
Jinx. Yeah, I think so. I think it looks that way. They look really, really strong. They look to be a side who, I mean, it's funny. The League Two promoted sides in a campaign that I certainly was banging the drum was in a substandard League Two have all, as you mentioned there, AFC Wimbledon have come up and are playing really well. Doncaster have come up and are playing very well. Port Vale have certainly deserved more, I would say, in their performances than they've got. And Bradford probably the pick of the bunch up to now too. They probably should have done better away at Northampton, but it was a game where they were the better team. And they beat title favourites Luton 2-0 and a good value for it. I thought Stephen Humphreys was brilliant, a constant threat for them throughout the first half, and he got his rewards with the opening goal before Bobby Poynton with a really nice finish for the second, or well worked goal that he tucked home just after half time. Kodua scored a header with 5 minutes or so to go, but Bradford were able to cause consistent problems for Luton and with a better team throughout it. So really impressed with them. And League One just has a very open feel to it because Luton haven't looked great. In a way, I would say, both the Championship and League One, you're seeing the fancy teams, like the pre-season fancy teams, look okay, but like by no means locks to be up towards the top end of the table. And it feels like in both leagues there could be a few surprises as to who's competing at the top, which is exciting. I think Bradford certainly fall into that category at the moment. Yeah,
Mansfield went down to Devon and won 2-1 in Exeter, which capped off a pretty rare good week in 2025 where they've had a tough time. They won at Chesterfield, big rivals in the Cup, and then went and did the same early kickoff as well down in Devon. Nigel Clough very, very proud of his team, and you can see why.
For sure. Blake Tracy got Stags ahead from a set piece, a header into the far corner before McGuinness scored a penalty with 50 minutes or so to go, and then Will Evans, who started last season in such good form, but his form kind of tailed off a little bit, managed to prod home late on from close range in order to make the point safe. I think a good win for Mansfield, especially after Exeter's resounding win at home to Blackpool last time out, which left their opening day defeat well behind them. Interestingly, Mansfield's new striker signing, Max Dickov, came off the bench, son of Paul Dickov, who played for Nigel Clough at Derby a long time ago, right at the end of his career. So how many occasions do we have of a manager in the EFL managing both a father and a son?
Love that.
Thank you.
4 draws to finish off League One. Donny 1, Wycombe 1. Donny's streak of 7 wins in a row across the 2 seasons is ended. They got a goal when Billy Sharp tackled the goalkeeper, one of them. But Wycombe equalised through Junior Quitierna. Quitierna's never quit. Although concerningly for Wycombe, as per James Richings, for the 20th time in 23 games, they failed to score in the first half. Slow starters, Wycombe. Stockport were 2-0 up at half-time against Orient, but drew 2-2. Orient equalising right at the end. We had Nathan Lowe, woo, and then Alowu scoring for Stockport. Sorry about that in the first half.
Very good.
So 2-0 Stockport at half-time, and then a lovely finish from Aaron Connolly, and then the equaliser from Ollie O'Neill, 1-1. Dave Challoner was pretty relaxed about them throwing away that 2-goal lead. Hold on, no. He wasn't at all. The first Challoner flamethrower of the season. Normally, they get a pretty good response, so pray for Bradford on Tuesday night. And I think Orient deserved the 2-2 draw, even if it was secured late on. Barnsley and Bolton drew 1-1. David McGoldrick breaking the offside trap, running through 1-1 and finishing.
Did anyone watch that goal and not think to themselves, wow, he can still kind of run?
Yeah. He's adding more strings to his bow.
Yeah.
He's going to be like that Japanese striker that's still playing professionally at 57. I mean, why not? He can still do it. A red card for younger Nathan, the youngster midfield challenge, where he's going to have 1,000 of those from now until the end of his career. He just needs to learn how to go into them so as not to fall foul of the law. That was unfortunate because with a man less, set-piece goal ended up being stabbed in by former Tyke McAtee of Bolton for a 1-0 draw. And then Burton 0, Port Vale 0 was a match that happened. Early red card for George Byers. I saw quite a lot of Vale fans not very happy about this one, but I would just say that the law says a tackle or challenge that endangers the safety of an opponent or uses excessive force must be sanctioned as serious foul play. Any player who lunges at an opponent in challenging for the ball from the front, from the side, or from behind, using one or both legs with excessive force or endangering the safety of an opponent is guilty of serious foul play. What you'll note there is no mention at all of whether they got the ball or not. It has got nothing to do with that.